Gary, cold open question.
Yes, sir.
What liquor do you refuse to drink anymore?
Liquor I refuse to drink anymore would be Southern Comfort.
Ding, ding, ding. That's the right answer.
Yeah, I don't remember what birthday it was. We were downtown, and it's weird because I was drinking a lot of Jack Daniels and ginger ale and a lot of like the high percent beers, but it was the shots of Southern Comfort that I remember the most. And I have not had that, and it's got to be at least 10 years, maybe even more. But yeah,
even the smell just like kind of makes my skin crawl anymore.
Yeah. I get, even in the liquor store, if I'm walking by and we're in the aisle, I happen to see it, I'm like, oh God, no, no.
All right, let's get the show started. Oh, tonight on the Brian Lennon Show, we will talk about the Fetterman and Oz debate, DeSantis and Chris debate, Bingo Bonanza, the King's Writing Conference, Coyotes, Oktoberfest, Dead or Alive, and more. Tonight on the Brian Lennon Show on Substack. We'll bring that bass down. Oh, all right. I was just enjoying the music. I was caught up in the flow, and I forgot I'm supposed to give an introduction.
That's what I kind of figured. I wasn't sure if you were doing one today, so I was like,
yeah.
So I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I was just kind of enjoying the music. All right, so there's right now two elephants in the room.
Mm-hmm.
The first one being the John Fetterman, Dr. Mehmet Oz debate, which just ended about an hour ago. Okay. We record on Tuesday evenings at 10 o'clock. We release it on Wednesdays on the Substack channel. The other elephant in the room is that you have glasses that match your usual teal shirt that you wear on episodes.
I know. How do you like that? So they were supposed.
It's very Paul Schaefer of you.
When I ordered them, they were supposed to be forest green, but when I pulled them out today and I'm like looking at it, I was like, that doesn't look forest green. And it happened to be I was wearing my shirt today to school, this polo and this color, and Shannon's like, it's more of that color. I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm like, that's not what they were supposed to be, but I'll take it.
And the fact that you live in Florida, I think you can get away with teal-colored frames.
Oh yeah, I got neon yellow ones too that I ordered, so
it fits the motif.
Yeah.
So cheers to you. So drinking some cherry pomegranate sparkling water tonight.
So I something new. I found it in the store the other day. The Bud Light seltzers. They have a apple slices variety pack. Nice. So the one I'm drinking right now is just crisp apple, which basically just tastes like a green apple. And then there's a peach mango and a strawberry apple and a cranberry apple. So yes, so far so good. I mean, the first one I had is not bad. So.
Gary, you remember back in the day, was it Suave that used to have that like citrus blend shampoo?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That we were all like
the green apple
fans of.
Yeah.
Is there a particular scent or flavor that you like to smell?
Lilac. I love lilac. It all comes from my grandma on my mother's side. So my grandma Rose, her backyard they used to have giant lilac bushes. And
Uh-huh.
whenever they would blossom, because they'd only come out like once a year, but when they would cut them and bring them in the house, it was just, oh, it smells so good. So I love lilac. That's one of my favorite. So anytime we can get like a body wash or a shampoo that has that scent, or candles when we usually go to Bath and Body Works and buy those candles, I'm always looking for a lilac candle. So
Lilac. So you're a lilac guy. Very interesting.
lilacs, I do. I wish I could grow them here, but I don't think they'll survive. So
I was not expecting that.
no.
All right. So let's talk a little bit. I know you were probably unfortunately for you, you were involved in the group text between me and some faithful listeners of the Brian Lennon Show podcast.
Yes, it was just dinging left and right. And I thought it was right before I was going to help my son with his project to do a podcast. And I'm sitting here and I thought it was him waiting for me because he likes to do that. He'll send me the same text over and over again. And it was just ding, 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 ding. I'm like, oh my God. So, and I pulled it up. I'm like, oh, not him. Nope. 20 texts in that group. I was like, I'm like, what in God's name?
Yeah.
I didn't even read them. I don't even know what you guys were even talking about.
All right. So you didn't watch the debate tonight. Obviously, living in Florida, you probably, I mean, I think it was available online, but you weren't watching this debate.
No.
Okay.
I don't watch any debates, really, to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, presidential, I'll throw out every once in a while, but I don't know. Let's listen to a bunch of bull.
Yeah. So the debate tonight was the Democratic candidate, John Fetterman, versus the Republican candidate, Dr. Mehmet Oz, for the U.S. Senate seat from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
This was the first time, actually, that the candidates have met tonight.
Okay.
It's their one and only debate. Pennsylvania is obviously, it's been a hotbed of contention for Democrats and Republicans for the last two or more presidential races. Obviously, with the balance of the Senate, up in the air, it's an important seat for both parties. On top of all that, John Fetterman, the candidate for the Democrats, had a stroke like 4 days before the May primary.
Okay, I didn't know that one.
Yeah. So, and he has come out and said his doctor has said that he has auditory processing disorder as a result of the stroke.
Okay.
So he needed basically he was looking at like a closed caption screen for the debate because he's not able to hear well. So he's reading the questions and reading Dr. Oz's, responses to the questions as well. Which is all well and good, accommodations and so all that. But I knew going in tonight, it was going to be an interesting, because there's never really, at least I think there's been other senators or other, either senators or representatives who've had some sort of ailments due to a stroke during an election. But I've never witnessed a debate between them, and I think this is probably the highest profile one we've had.
Yeah.
So it was going to be interesting to just kind of observe to begin with, regardless of your politics or whatever you think.
Yeah.
And watching the debate, one of the comments made in the text message was that maybe that Fetterman has aphasia, which not only affects the like auditory, but also his ability to speak. And he had a very halting, troublesome time speaking, like really had a hard time even just putting a solid sentence together.
Okay.
And it was just really interesting thing to watch because, having grown up with Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, some of the most eloquent speakers we've ever had. I mean, there's been George W. Bush, who's not the greatest speaker.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, has his own speech patterns and all that. But they were able to basically say what they wanted to say.
Yeah.
And really, it was at points for me hard to watch because he was so. It just didn't look good. It didn't look good for him as far as putting, together thought. And I think that was part of the question. I think a lot of voters have is, what part of that is, symptoms or ailments from the stroke, and then what does that mean? What part of it is maybe there's permanent or long-term brain damage from the stroke?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it happens. People, they'll lose parts of their.
And like my brother Paul had multiple strokes, and it affected him, in lots of ways. So not that I'm going, I'm not trying to be like unkind about it, but it was troubling. And I think the debate created a lot more questions now about Fetterman's overall health and his ability to maybe serve as a senator.
Yeah.
So they asked him if he would release his medical records. He kind of avoided the question or avoided answering it, and said he's been transparent by showing up. So,
oh well.
And I also saw people online kind of defending him because, again, if you're in a primetime debate and they were only giving them, it was only an hour.
Okay.
Oz's campaign wanted 90 minutes to account for what they said was going to be the delay in Fetterman reading the closed captioning and then responding.
Yeah.
So with 60 minutes, it didn't leave a lot of time for long answers. They were only given 60 seconds to provide an answer. So even like any person being, asked a question in prime time and only given 60 seconds to reply, would be tough to begin with.
Yep.
And that would make me argue, well, why then didn't, Fetterman go with the longer, if you went with a 90-minute debate, now that maybe gives you a minute and a half to respond to the question, to give him more time to kind of process his thoughts to be able to speak. So,
yeah. Hey, I'm not in your shoes. I don't have to be voting for any of those guys. So
now last night in Florida, you had the Governor DeSantis, Charlie Crist debate. You didn't watch it?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not. I was watching the miserable football game. So, but yeah, no, didn't. And actually, I didn't even see anything on. Usually, if I'm on Twitter, scrolling through, I'll see something someone posted because I've seen where I've seen videos of Val Demings and Rubio's, but I'm surprised I didn't see anything last night. Well, I guess because it was last night. I mean, that wasn't on today, so maybe there's some stuff. I haven't scrolled through anything today, so
the only clip I saw from that debate was Charlie Crist asking DeSantis if he promised to serve all 4 years if reelected governor.
Okay.
Obviously, with there being already a lot of talk about DeSantis running in 24 for the Republican nomination for president.
Yep.
DeSantis would not acknowledge Crist because I guess was part of the rules is that the candidates couldn't ask each other questions.
Oh, jeez.
So he just stood there looking straight ahead at the camera. But then he did make some sort of smart reply about it. So
He is. Oh God. Oh. I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't really care. I mean, Chris was governor for a while here. Then
when he was a Republican.
He was a Republican. Then he flip-flopped a little while. Then he was trying to get Senate and this. I'm like, I really, to tell you the truth, I don't really care for either of them. So
yeah,
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Do you think candidates should have to release medical records, or is that an invasion of privacy?
Man.
Or do you think just the voters will speak enough if they, as far as like the Fetterman Oz campaigns go, like if Fetterman wins, obviously people didn't have an issue with, what they saw tonight during the debate and any questions about his health.
I mean, if you have nothing to hide, then there's really, I mean, who cares? It's when you don't want to do, like, when you don't want to release anything, that's when usually you're hiding something. So, I would be like, if I have nothing to hide, I'm going to release them. I don't care. But but that's the thing is you don't want to vote. Yeah. You don't want to vote in someone that may have some sort of ailment and then all of a sudden they pass. And now all of a sudden that seat's open. So now you have to go through all again, re-vote someone else in. It's just a pain. But I mean, if you got nothing to hide, show your documents.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not an expert on strokes and the impacts and the effects. And I think that's one of the things with a stroke is you really don't know. It's like hard to kind of, because I remember even with my brother, it was kind of hard to know, like, I mean, he had, after one particular stroke, I don't remember the name of it, but I remember my sister and I were visiting him, and anything we said, he just burst out laughing.
Okay.
It didn't matter.
But did he do that anyway?
He did. He would do that a lot. But I remember literally we went and he was on this tear with like the last movie you watched described your fart or something.
Okay. Okay.
And
oh my God.
It would be like The Dirty Dozen. And he would just die laughing. And we were there for probably an hour and a half. Like my sister and I, our sides were sore, laughing.
Yeah.
And we didn't even say, like, we went to visit him and we didn't even say anything. We didn't have like any meaningful conversation because he was just laughing.
I have family members that have that have had mini strokes, multiples. They're like, nothing's wrong. My grandfather on my father's side, he, besides a couple heart attacks he had a couple strokes. But I mean, it was like nothing ever happened. Like he never lost any motions in any parts of his body. He still sharp as a tack. So I mean, I guess it all depends on the person and the type of stroke you take, I guess. So, but
yeah, and it was weird too because there was, I mean, he had this stroke back in May. Fetterman did. Clearly it's still affecting him here in the end of October. Even just the way he was standing, he was very rigid. He didn't even like barely turn or face, Oz to his left. So I think, like I said, I think it's going to create a lot more questions that you'll see coming up, especially in the media.
Yeah.
Probably especially in the, like Fox News will be all over it.
Oh yeah.
The right-wing media. But it's an interesting kind of an interesting scenario for politics.
Yeah, I haven't seen, because I mean, I know because I mean, living in Florida, I don't have, I'm not going to have to vote for those guys, but I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter. So I've seen him on Twitter, like like some of his ads and stuff like that. But I haven't seen him, I guess, since he's had that. Like, I don't know if he's posted anything or not. So,
and he was not the most eloquent person to begin with.
Yeah, no.
Even like before the stroke.
Yeah, well, that's a
like he has a master's from Harvard. He's obviously smart, but he really just was never like the most eloquent speaker, public person to begin with, even before the stroke. So,
and sometimes I mean, hey, that's a lot of people liked. Trump was not an elegant speaker, and people loved just what he said. So I mean, as long as you say the garbage you want people to hear, you're good to go. So,
yeah.
And I mean, how many times do we hear senators speaking anyway? I mean, they're just in the House. I mean, unless you're watching C-SPAN and watching the stuff going on where they're going up there to talk about stuff or people posting. Other than that, we don't. They're just talking to themselves. They're not. The only time they talk to the people is when they're trying to get reelected again, and then they're out and about.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, this weekend, moving on.
Yes.
This weekend, past weekend, I should say, we had a little Oktoberfest celebration here at the house on Saturday night.
Oh, yes. I mean to ask you about this.
So I placed an emergency call on the bat phone to my Alfred.
Yes.
To get the ingredients for a mixed drink.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going with the Smirnoff caramel vodka.
Okay.
Fireball.
Okay.
And apple cider,
mm-hmm.
which, Gary, hold on to your socks, is $7 a gallon here in Pennsylvania.
Wow, that's cheap.
Oh, that's cheap?
I paid $5 something for a half gallon. No, I'm sorry, it was $6 something for half gallon. Or I could have got the nice Honeycrisp one for $11.99 a half gallon. So yes, you're $7.99 a gallon.
Mm.
Cheap.
Well, now I feel better. So you ever walk into remember? Well, your mom worked at AC Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you would walk into AC Moore like around this time of year and you get that like cinnamon?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what the drink tasted like.
Okay.
It tastes like walking into AC Moore or Michael's, like a craft store. So it was fitting because it was a nice, fall evening.
Yeah.
Not something you want to drink in June.
Yeah. No.
But it certainly did the job. People enjoyed it. People were trying to guess like what was in it.
Okay.
So that was kind of fun.
So,
some people tasted the cinnamon but couldn't identify the cider. Other people tasted the cider but couldn't figure out the cinnamon. So
okay.
Because everyone's taste buds are different.
So after talking about that, me and Shant ran out. We went to the liquor store and I'm like, all right, let's go. So what's funny is I actually had caramel vodka already in my cabinet. It was that Veil or whatever. So I was like, all right. I'm like, I'll just leave that. I won't get anything else. So we get to the liquor store, and as we're walking in, of course, it's like Sam's Club at this liquor store. There's people out there with samples. So, oh, you want to try this? You want to try it? We're like, oh, sure. So it was a cinnamon vodka that they had. I think it was fantastic. I mean, it was real smooth, went down. So I decided to change it up. So instead of Fireball, I bought the cinnamon vodka. So it was the caramel vodka, the cinnamon vodka, and the cider. And then I did buy some of that Screwball, that peanut butter whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a little bit of that in the first drink. And when we started drinking it, that's all you tasted was just like that whiskey taste. So we're like, you know what? Let's get that.
You mix the vodka with the whiskey.
Yes. So
okay.
it was the caramel vodka, the cinnamon vodka, a little bit of Screwball, and then the apple cider. But all I tasted was like that whiskey part. So I was like, so let's skip that. So then we stopped, and I stopped putting that in, and I just made it with the two vodkas and the apple cider. It was really good. And then I bought an apple, sliced it, and I used that.
I saw you garnished.
Oh, yeah. So
I saw the garnish. You sent me a picture.
It was good that way, but you could take, when it was that way, I don't know if maybe it's the Fireball is just a little too, because it is a whiskey too. Maybe it's just too strong. So like I said, haven't tried it with the Fireball yet, but with the cinnamon vodka and the caramel vodka, you got that nice. It was like a caramel apple tasting drink. So, but
now, when I went to the liquor store, so I was looking for that peanut butter?
butter whiskey.
Peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah.
They didn't have it with the whiskeys. It was actually on the shelf with the Fireball.
Oh, okay.
But they had a chocolate peanut butter whiskey.
That's good.
And that I was tempted to get.
It's really good.
Because I love like Reese's. And but I'm not a fan of whiskey like we've spoken.
I bought it when actually I don't know if it was a whiskey or a bourbon. I can't remember which one it was, but I bought it. It was a chocolate peanut butter truffle. I think it was or not truffle, turtle or whatever that candy is, whatever. That's what the whiskey was. And I bought it when her cousin Larry was down, and two of us we drank almost that entire bottle, just straight on ice and just drinking it. It was so good.
And Lucy was with me. She's like, "Why don't you get that?" And I was like, "No." I said, "I'll let Gary buy that when he comes up."
Yeah. and it's funny because when we were in there and I was looking at all this stuff, because I didn't realize, I mean, it's been a while since I guess I've been to the liquor store, and especially like in the whiskey section, but there were so many flavored whiskeys now. It was ridiculous. I was like, I've never seen that. It was like a banana. There was a peach whiskey. I was like, crap, there's so many different flavored whiskeys. But I was looking at stuff. I was like, yeah, I got to figure out what I'm going to buy when I'm up there with Brian. I got to see what's here. And then, I got to see what's there.
I was at the whiskeys and there was like, I don't know, banana,
yep,
apple,
yep,
peach, like it's almost like regular schnapps now. I didn't see the peanut butter whiskey. And then when we went around to the Fireball, that's where they had it.
Well,
probably figuring people are making it with.
Well, it's funny that they had it in a separate, like, because usually, I mean, the Fireball if we go to buy it, it's usually in with the whiskey in the whiskey aisle, because there's like 50 different other varieties of cinnamon whiskeys now that are out there. So, but
and you know who was working in the liquor store?
Who's that?
One of our classmates.
Oh yeah,
Kevin. Not Kevin Whalen.
Not Harvick.
Carney.
Oh, Kevin Carney.
Is that his name?
The redhead. Carney? He was the redhead.
Real quiet.
Sure, if you want to say that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was never. Well, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, so he's working.
Yeah, he was there. I saw him.
Working, or was he in the
working? No, he was working.
Yeah, that's.
And I haven't seen him in years.
No. We wouldn't even recognize him.
So that brings me to another story about an ex-classmate of ours. I don't want to say any names just for reasons.
I got you.
But I think it was it Saturday or Sunday night? We got a notice to like our Facebook class of page.
Yep.
That one of our classmates had died.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then if you clicked on the comments, there was maybe some, hold on a minute.
I did see that later on, because then someone else wrote back saying, well, story might be a little different now. And I'm like, so I still haven't. Did he pass?
Apparently, no. So apparently the person who posted the message on Facebook originally has deleted it.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. And he made another post, apologizing for rushing to judgment there.
Yeah.
And he provided an update. Our classmate's not doing well. Hopefully, prayers answered. He recovers and is okay. But I guess there's maybe something going on with like a girlfriend and a sister or other family member, and they're fighting over stuff. So, but it's kind of scary that they're like Paul McCartney was, there was a hoax that Paul McCartney had died.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think it would happen like with someone you know, like, oh, they're dead. Oh wait, no, they're not dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I say, because it popped up that night. I happened to be scrolling through, and I'm like, I clicked on it because I was like, oh, class, because I had posted something out there a few weeks back because we have our first homecoming coming up soon, and they wanted for us to bring pictures and stuff. So I was writing out there to say, hey, if anyone has pictures of me from homecoming, can you send them?
Did you get any response?
No. Well, that's what it is. And I seen something for a class of, I was like, I'm like, oh, someone, and then someone, I'm reading that. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, oh, that sucks. And
it was also, well, it's not funny, but it kind of reminded me of the Friends episode where Ross makes believe he's dead, and Chandler has to like host these people for like his funeral.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember that one. It's so So I'm like, oh, yeah, I thought it was gonna be that, and then I'm like, oh well, that just brought me down. And
when we had was that the 25th year reunion?
Yeah.
The last one I think we were together for. So that's the last time I saw the.
Yeah, because I didn't come up for that one.
Yeah, so that was the last time I saw the person who's rumored to be dead, and I actually spent a good portion of the night with him.
Okay.
Because I hadn't seen him in years, and him and I were close because him and I were new to Bishop O'Hara.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our senior years. Him and I were both the new kids.
Yep.
And so I think we kind of bonded over that. We were in like Mrs. Parola's class together.
Yeah.
All those hijinks.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the Mavericks basketball team together. So, we spent a lot of time.
Yeah, I think he was in my homeroom, I believe. I'm trying to think if he
probably.
Yes, because Ryan Obcharsky was in there. So so he would have been in my homeroom as well. Yeah.
So, well, we will continue to pray for his
recovery. Yes.
Recovery and health, and
exactly.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because then there was another student that we went to school with. She was posting. I guess she must sell life insurance. So she was had a post out there about, hey, we're getting older and we kind of need life insurance, and we've already lost I don't know how many she said classmates, and I'm like, I only remember one, but
we've lost I think
guess
two.
There's two. Yeah, I guess there's one of the female, right? I think.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what her name was now, but yeah, I didn't even realize it. I'm like, shoot.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I only knew of one.
All right. So this past weekend too, Gary, I went to a King's College.
I seen a picture of Joey squinting.
Yep. I went squinting into the sun. Went to a writing conference there.
Oh, that's right. I remember we were talking. We were going down to do that. Yep.
Yeah. So I went Friday. I got one session in because I didn't get out of work as early as I would have liked to, but I did catch one of the sessions. And then that evening they had like a public reading.
Okay.
So I actually read parts of the story I wrote of a memoir I had written for a class I had taken in the spring online through Wilkes University. I read that. There was probably about 25, 30 people in the room. Okay. So that was interesting. I had never done that before.
Yeah.
And then afterward at the reception, one of the professor who's kind of like in charge of the show there, she came up to me and she said, I'd love to read the whole thing. Would you mind emailing it to me? So like,
oh, nice.
All right. Yeah. So,
sure. What?
So
get yourself published.
I have to edit it a little bit more, but then,
did you finish it?
Well, another thing is, so last night I met with Jason Petrachko, Holly's husband.
Okay.
Because he writes too. And we've been trying for years to get together to, kind of start a writing group. So we actually met last night, and I had sent him the piece, and he gave me some edits and feedback. So it's not really done, but there's a good portion of it done. But Jason brought up a lot of good points of contention with the story. So
okay,
we will
look forward to seeing it in Barnes and Noble.
Yeah. Gary, when was the last time you played bingo?
Ooh, oh man.
Did you ever play bingo up here, like in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. I used to a lot of time at the church picnics. Used to go and sit, and then
Okay.
Younger, and that's actually I think the one in Archibald, St. Thomas. The one time it was a bunch of us were out. We were at the picnic or whatever, and we decided to go in and play bingo. But the last time I played wasn't too long ago. It was our friends were in from Tennessee, and the one brewery we went to when we met them, it was 81st Bay over in Tampa. They had a bingo night, and we were in there. We were actually playing bingo. So it was probably last year sometime.
Okay. So the church hosted a bingo bonanza this past on Sunday. So we collected like items, so like big screen TV, not a laptop computer, a desktop computer.
Okay.
A Roomba vacuum cleaner. There was like a $300 Sheets gift card.
Okay.
There was like a grill. They had to be like over $300 each. Like each one was over $300.
Okay.
We had 17 items, 17 games with these items. Plus we had 3 cash specials, $300 winners.
Okay.
For each of those games. So that's what I was doing all Sunday. And Ruby and Lucy both came to play. And I'd been trying to get Ruby to come play because I've been volunteering on Monday nights at the regular bingo. She's like, I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play. So about halfway during the games, she comes down to the basement where I was, and she's like, can I come next week? So she's hooked. I have a little bingo player now.
Yeah, see? That's funny because they never want to do certain things, but then as soon as they do it, then it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh well, I didn't know it was like this. Yeah. So I'll come in. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to get her since like June to come and play because she could. It's only like $10 for the kids package.
Oh, okay.
Because they can't play like in the jackpot for whatever reason. But yeah, I was like, why don't you come and just play? Especially in the summer when like she didn't have to be up the next morning.
Exactly.
So
kids, I tell you.
Did you before we get into news of the weird, did you get that article about the
I did.
Okay. So one other question I have for you, Gary, is twice this past week, the topic of coyotes came up.
Oh.
Do you have coyotes in Florida?
Yeah, we do.
You do?
Yeah, we get a lot. The problem is a lot of the people think they're seeing coyotes, but sometimes they're just bigger dogs that are roaming the neighborhoods. But we'll get like my Ring, my app on my phone for my Ring doorbell. It'll, because I'm part of that like whole group there, whatever. It'll be dinging. Coyote here, blah blah blah. Seen 2 coyotes running across the street here on this road or whatever, and I'm like, okay, but I've not seen any, but supposedly, there's some coyote roaming around. Bobcats.
I think I told you about the time Ruby and I saw I think it was a coyote or fox. I don't know what it was.
Okay.
It was just some creature.
Yeah.
Like mangy creature crossing the road like one early morning when we were going to Duncan. I was like, I was in the car just screaming, like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But apparently, coyotes are very. They're almost like an invasive species
Mhm.
because they've just spread out all over the country. Apparently, there's coyotes in like abandoned buildings in the Bronx.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Westchester County, which is like just outside of New York City, is like overrun with coyotes.
Wow. That's crazy.
And I heard coyotes, the female, like if they lose someone, if they lose a member of their pack,
Mm-hmm.
the female has a bigger litter, which is why they kind of keep
Oh, okay. I see. Yep.
they keep spreading out. And apparently, when they howl, they're taking roll call,
Mm-hmm.
which I never knew.
No, I didn't know that either. I've never heard. Like I said, I mean, they. I always like the notification pop up. Oh, coyotes! This, seeing a coyote here, coyote there. Watch your cats. That's usually the thing that they, make sure your cats are inside or small dogs and all that stuff. But I've never seen any or heard any. So, but I mean, where I live, there's just so much going on. Like there's not much land. I could see like a few blocks south of me where it's more horse farms and it's a little bit opened up and there's not as many houses. I can see like that's usually where a lot of the stuff where I'll see the notifications are, and they're usually down that way. So but I could see that because there's a little bit more woodsy area and stuff. So but yeah, I don't think I haven't, unless I'm the only time I've ever seen it is like at a zoo. I've never seen a wild coyote.
And I guess coyotes are afraid of us. Like we're a predator to them.
Okay.
Although if I saw one, I would be scared.
Yeah, I'd be running the other direction.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess they're not like a wolf where, they'll attack. They'll just kind of run the other way. Kind of like the only weird wild animals I see are possums. We'll see a lot of those. Like I'll get a few that are just like they'll hang out on my like the fence, and then they just sit there. The one day I walked out and there was one on my neighbor's roof sitting there, and it was weird because it was right around, I don't know if it was around Christmas time or Halloween or something, and it was up there, and I was like, that's kind of a weird decoration to be putting on your roof. And then realize it was an actual possum just sitting there. So I don't know if it was climbing her tree and must have maybe jumped off and just got on the roof, or fell onto the roof and then just didn't know where and couldn't get back up into the tree. So it was just sitting on the roof. So
and how big is a possum?
Are
they like a beaver or groundhog?
Yeah, they can be about that size. They're pretty big. Yeah, they're yeah.
What family do they belong to?
I have no idea. I think aren't they are they under the rodents? I think they're under rodent category. I don't know. I'll have to Google that one right now and see what the heck. What is what?
But so now I'm paranoid when I leave the house because there was that cat that was living in the back of our house that got in that one time.
Yeah.
But now I'm like paranoid that I'm gonna like go out to my car and there's gonna be a coyote staring me down in the alley or something. Oh.
Now see this doesn't even look like the possum I've seen. Maybe I'm not even thinking of possums. What's the one that plays dead? Isn't that a possum?
Dogs play dead.
Oh, it's the one that like rolls up in a ball and
the hedgehog, like Sonic?
No, not a hedgehog.
I think it's a possum.
I thought it was, but I thought they had like a hard shell. The ones
An armadillo?
It's not an armadillo, but a possum's a marsupial. If you wanted to know.
So it's like a kangaroo.
Yeah. But like the ones I'm seeing are like all fuzzy, but the ones that I see are usually
well, it's a Florida possum.
Oh, maybe it is a Florida possum. Florida possum.
Not to mention you have all those iguanas and lizards down there as well.
Oh yeah. Well, we don't have like the ones like in Miami where they're like giant little baby dinosaurs walking around where they're falling out of the trees when it's cold. We just have all like the small little like gecko lizard type things. So of course I did see when we were over in Jupiter on the East Coast, we were at the outlets, and I'm walking over by the bench, and it literally looked like those lizards you see in the pet store that you can get, and it was like this big, and it was just like
out in public.
And I'm like, I've never seen that before. I'm like, that is so weird. Usually they're just the little tiny ones.
And now it's time for Gary's News of the Weird with your host, Gary McDaniel. And we're going to go to the newsroom. Gary McDaniel, always on the beat. What do you have for us today, Gary?
Yes, sir. So, woman charged with sending bee swarm on deputies at eviction. Springfield, Massachusetts. A Massachusetts woman who released a swarm of bees on sheriff deputies as they tried to serve an eviction notice is facing multiple assault and battery charges, authorities said.
Was this a sting operation, Gary?
I think it sounds like it. Rory Woods, 55, pleaded not guilty at her arraignment on October 12th in Springfield District Court and was released without bail. City citing court records reported on Wednesday. She and other protesters maintain that they were trying to prevent a wrongful eviction. The homeowner, Alton King, brought evidence of a bankruptcy stay to court the next day, at which point everything should have stopped, said Grace Ross of the Massachusetts Alliance Against Predatory Lending. Wood's lawyer did not immediately respond to a voicemail left. Sorry, stupid ad. Voicemail left by the Associated Press on Wednesday. Hampden County deputies were met by protesters when they went to the home in Long Meadow on the morning of October 12th, according to the official department report. Woods, who lives in Hadley, arrived in an SUV towing a trailer carrying beehives and started shaking them, breaking the cover off one and causing hundreds of bees to swarm out and initially sting one deputy, according to the report. Woods, who put on a beekeeper suit to protect herself, was eventually handcuffed, but not before several more sheriff department employees were stung, including 3 who are allergic to bees. So yes, she let's see if I could go here. And there she is.
In her bee costume.
Lovely costume. Ready to sting the police.
Ready to face her jail time.
What a whack job. All right. And
well, that was a sweet story, Gary.
That was, wasn't it? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. All right. And the next story, which was a story that was asked to be.
I saw this.
Was basically I can't get the word out now, but world's dirtiest man, Amu Haji, who last showered 60 years ago, dead at 94. An Iranian hermit who had been unofficially dubbed the world's dirtiest man after not showering for some 60 years has died at 94. Amu Haji, not his real name, but an enduring nickname given to elderly people, reportedly died Sunday in the village of Dejad, Haji, known for his grime-covered skin, grime-covered skin and matted hair, abstained from washing because he believed. Let me take my glasses off.
You might want to look.
I can't. Yeah.
Might want your money back on those glasses.
Well, yeah. I have another screen up here, so I'm trying to. Okay. Believed soap and water would make him sick. He lived in isolation for most of his life in an open brick hut, which villagers made after he started sleeping in a hole in the ground. Locals attributed Hajij's eccentricity to emotional setbacks in his youth. In 2014, the Tehran Times reported that Haji also avoided fresh food, opting instead for rotted porcupine and smoked a pipe of animal excrements. Yummy. According to the Daily Mail, Haji's story was the subject of the 2013 short documentary, The Strange Life of Amu Haji. In the end, it is possible that Haji's concerns were somewhat warranted. Just a few months before his death, village officials reported villagers had taken him to a bathroom to wash. It is unclear if the cleaning effort was successful. The Guardian suspected Kalish Kalu Singh, an Indian who had not showered for more than 30 years in 2009, might be a frontrunner to the bizarre honor. So, speaking to the Hinduism Times several years ago, Singh said his lack of hygiene was an attempt to help all the problems confronting the nation. Neighbors argued that then 63-year-old man, the father of 7 daughters, and actually abstaining from cleanliness is the hopes of having a son. I don't know what that means, but whatever. But yes, so this spooky.
So he almost maybe started it as a penance. It seems
that's
like to try and have a son.
Yeah, and there he is smoking his animal extract pipe. Yeah, get in there. It looks like just a bunch of.
Look at that. Look at his beard goes all the way up to like his eyeball.
Old cigarettes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a better but there was another one I think there's just there's not really a really good close up. I guess they didn't really want to get too close to him.
But, so I only saw the headline and the picture of him. And that's why I thought it would be a good story for the news of the weird.
Oh, that was good.
I didn't know there was.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I didn't know there was like more to the story or anything from his background.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah, like I said, it was all about like he just believed that cleaning with stuff you would get sick. And
well, there's a long history of I think like desert ascetics, even in the Catholic Church.
Yeah. Can't hear you. So I'm just gonna talk. Nope. I can't hear you, but that's fine.
Okay.
There you go.
So there's a history of it, with religion as far as like that aesthetic lifestyle, for 40 days or whatever, but not 60 years.
60 years. That's just.
What's the longest or what's the dirtiest you've ever been, Gary? I'm talking physically, not mentally.
Okay. Like 2 days.
Really? That's it?
Like I might go like a week. Like sometimes sometimes I'll go like on the weekend. Like if we're not doing anything on a weekend, like I may not shower Saturday or Sunday, and then that's it. But no, I shower every day before I go to work. I wash my hair every day too. I know like some people say, oh, you don't need to wash your hair every day, but I don't know. I've got like this greasiness to me. So like when I sleep at night, I feel like when I wake up in the morning, I just feel like my hair is just is dirty and I'm just sweating. So I'm like, no, I need a shower. That's why I don't like to shower before I go to bed either. Because I know a lot of people that do that. They'll shower before they go to bed. And I heard it's good for you, like it'll help you sleep and relaxes you and everything, but I can't do it because I still need
so does a beer.
So, or a few. But I don't like to do that because then I feel like even in the morning I still got to shower anyway. So it's like, but yep. So, but that is news of the weird. Haji.
Gary, you ever flip anything on eBay?
I have not. No, I don't think I've ever bought anything on eBay. So, no, garage sales. That's about as much as I've ever done. I don't put anything online. I know we've talked about like maybe doing like the Facebook Marketplace type thing, and putting something out there, but we have never done any of that. We'll just either have a yard sale or I just take everything down to the Salvation Army and just drop it off.
I'm thinking about getting into flipping things on eBay.
Flipping things on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known a couple people that did that.
So
I've never done it, so I don't know like if it's really worth it or not. Like, so I know one of our listeners had posted about that he has done a couple things like that too, but the shipping now is starting to get up there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think there's definitely money to be made in the flipping of the eBay items.
I guess it depends on what you're selling.
Yeah.
And if you're including shipping costs in that, or are you not putting that in the price? You're just doing your.
Apparently, certain things you ship, if it's like a CD or a book, it's like a media thing. There's a flat rate.
Okay.
So it's basically a flat rate, but you're just paying by the pound. You're not paying like by the dimensions.
Okay.
Of like if you send something UPS, they measure the.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
Okay.
So. Yeah. I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah, do it. Why not?
What do you have coming up the rest of the week here? Or go ahead.
So I will be. So I did order hats. So I did get some hats. So I'm gonna start trying to do some logo stuff on them and see what they look like.
So you bought the hats. You brought them in.
Yeah. So I bought hats off of Amazon. They came in over the weekend. I haven't had a chance to try doing anything yet with them, but it was a variety of different color hats, and so I'm gonna work on that. Probably not this weekend because I guess we're going to East Coast this weekend. I guess there's some Halloween stuff over there, so we're gonna go over and do some of that stuff. But I'll be back here for actual Halloween. So, but yeah, that's pretty much everything on the docket for this week.
I don't know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing. Friday, I'm going to a local comedian is taping a special down in Wilkes-Barre at Carl Hall. I think his name is like Paul Splatt or Paul Spratt. I've never heard of him before, but I bought tickets. So I'll be attending that on Friday night. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
I still want to try stand-up comedy at some point. The public reading was as close as I was going to get to.
Do you guys even have that up there? Anything like that?
Comedy?
Yeah, like
there are a few ones. Like I said, right before the pandemic, I was going to one. He's not doing anything right now. There's another place in Oliphant actually that has some stand-up and open mic stuff. So there's definitely possibilities to do it. Not great ones, but opportunities too.
Yeah,
so
that's always good. Start small.
I did get a few laughs during the story I was reading. So that was, it's always good to get feedback that way.
There you
go. Did you want to put your plugs in for
Distracted Dad's Brewery? Well, no, because we've been talking about opening up a brewery. He created a logo for it already.
You guys should move up here and open a brewery.
So we haven't, but yes. So at some point we will probably be having a brewery. But yeah, we have our logo. Well, because I found out the place we go to, that's how they started. They started by just basically making beer. No, they started making beers in their garage, and then just bottling some of it and then selling it to certain areas, but then selling merchandise before they even had a place. Mm-hmm. And that's how they were making their money. So we're looking at that. But yes, Distracted Dad's podcast, Podbean, Tuesday or Thursdays. We've been doing it live lately. So
it's the way to go.
Yeah. So we'll probably be doing, we didn't do one last Thursday. I don't know why. We just we were out and we just never, we were just in 3 different places and I completely forgot about it. We were all tired too, so we didn't really want to do anything, but yes, we'll probably be live this Thursday. So 9:00 Podbean. All
right. Is Fat Jack's going to become a sponsor of the show? Our show. What?
After you sent that, I might have to talk to him about that. See what I could do. He a family friend. He used to work for a place called Delco's, which was a place that I guess is in Philly. I guess there was a Delco's, and they brought one down this way, and he worked for them for a long time cooking. And they steak and cheese. So he decided to open his own business, and he's been doing great. Actually, this coming Monday, the 31st, he'll be open for a year. So
that's kind of a benchmark for restaurants.
Yeah. And he's been doing great. We were for a while there, we were going up almost every weekend just to get some, because I'll just get you get a 10-inch cheesesteak, but it's almost the meat that he puts inside of it is almost 4 steak and cheese that you can get back home. It's ridiculous, but it's so good. I leave there and I'm I can't eat anymore.
What do you put on your steak and cheese, Gary?
Ketchup.
That's it?
That's it.
Steak, cheese, and ketchup.
That's it.
No onions, no mushroom.
Nope. I do.
Wow.
I don't like veggies.
Jeez, that's. Ugh.
I don't like veggies touching my meat.
Hey now.
So no, yeah, that's it.
Right.
But we did get the fries with the. Let's see, puts the Velveeta cheese on it. Oh yeah, too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'll have to talk to him about that. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. All right. Just a reminder: check out the Substack page, TheBrianLennonShow.substack.com. My gratitude journal is up for week 5, so I only have 5 more weeks to be thankful for things. Then I can go back to my usual crabby self. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be all.
That is good.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode, maybe a special guest.
Yes, sir.
And as always, is this the end song? This is the beginning song, isn't it?
You are correct.
Sure. Don't try to pull a fast one on me. As always, thank you to the co-host, producer extraordinaire, Gary McDaniel. I'm Brian Lennon for The Brian Lennon Show. Substack.com.